Hari Om. Let us now continue our study of this great text, Vivekachudamani. We are currently studying Shloka 13, verse 13 of this great text, taught to us by our dear Guru Swami Paramarthananda. We were looking at an interesting verse that Swamiji had quoted towards the end of the last capsule. Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram tasya karoti kim locanabhyam vihinasya darpanam kim karishyati. Very interesting shloka in the context of our study. Yasya nasti swayam prajna. He who does not have or he who hasn't cultivated the capacity to think for himself. Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram tasya karoti kim. What use will be the Shastras, the Guru Shastra Upadesha to him? Implying that there should be an optimum level of preparation on the part of the student. He must be optimally an optimal sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari. One cannot be a perfect sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari, but enough adhikaritvam to be able to receive the teaching and think for oneself. Only then will the Guru Shastra Upadesha work. And therefore, this shloka says, Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram tasya karoti kim. What can the Shastras do for him who does not have an independent capacity to think, to reason, to be rational? And the second line, second part of that verse substantiates it with an example. Lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanam kim karishyati. What can a mirror do for a person who is either blind or has a poor eyesight? Because the aim of looking at the mirror is to see one's reflection in the mirror, right? Is a very deep example that is mentioned in this shloka. Lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanam kim karishyati. Our Shastras and our Gurus are called darpanas. Darpanas. Guru Shastra Upadesha Darpanam. They are mirrors that reflect our immaculate selves to ourselves. Immaculate self in singular only, not selves. Immaculate self to ourselves. That should be the bhavana with which we must approach our gurus and the Shastras. With that amount of Shraddha, with that amount of Vishwasa, Vishwasaha. Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasa Shraddha is the definition for Shraddha given in Tattva Bodha. Ad infinitum, Swami Paramarthananda would encourage his students to study Tattva Bodha repeatedly. Repeatedly. He also encourages us to get the text by heart. He also advises students to go through the Introduction to Vedanta series. This too, Swamiji is never tired of mentioning. Study of Tattva Bodha and study of the Introduction to Vedanta series. Swamiji always says that studying these two texts will help in building a very strong foundation. It is only with a strong foundation can one build a strong edifice. A weak foundation will never support the edifice for too long. However strong the edifice is, Swamiji never tires of mentioning these two texts, these two channels of study, Tattva Bodha and Introduction to Vedanta. So we must have this approach of looking at our Shastras and our Gurus as Darpana. Guru Shastra Darpana. Mirrors. The more I look into a mirror, the more I see myself. When I look at the mirror repeatedly, I can see myself like I couldn't have seen myself anywhere else. This is one of Bhagavan's greatest creations, the mirror or a mirroring surface. The concept of mirroring is another big blessing given to us by Bhagavan. Otherwise, there is no possibility of looking at our beautiful faces, isn't it? So deep is the meaning of this beautiful shloka that Swamiji quoted in this context, the context of study. Lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanam kim karishyati. Here again, one must know how to use the mirror. That's another very interesting point to be noted, which Swamiji himself mentions. We must know which side of the mirror to turn towards us. If we do not know that, then there is no way of looking at ourselves in the mirror. Then again, we must check the quality of the mirror. Whether the mirror is reflection worthy, the mirror itself is immaculate. It is only the dust or other impurities that are sticking on the mirror that are causing us not to see our reflection in the mirror. So we require internal cleaning and external cleaning, the mirror remaining the same. Of course, there are other factors like if the mirror has been properly prepared, the back side of the mirror is properly prepared and amalgamated, the coating, mercury amalgamation that is coated on the rear side of the mirror, has it been done properly? All that needs to be checked. But in a good mirror, the reflecting surface remains immaculate. It is only the dust and other impurities that have settled on the mirror that are causing that are not allowing us to look at our reflection. So the more we rub the mirror and clean the mirror, the clearer will be our reflection seen on the mirror. Likewise, the Shastras and the Guru's words are always immaculate. They are pure. It is only the ball is entirely in our court to clean, to, to maintain an optimal and clean antahkaranam, to allow us to be fit receptacles to receive the Guru Shastra Upadesha. This verse is a very deep verse worth reflecting on. One can draw many ideas from this beautiful verse. So, as I was saying earlier, Shankaracharya says both Vichara and Guru Vakya must be given equal importance. Equal importance. Swamiji said, in semi darkness, suppose a torchlight is available, but the person is either blind or has poor vision. The torchlight is useless. As even I'm saying this, you must recollect the shloka that we just analyzed. Yasya nasti swayam prajna. So, in semi darkness, suppose a torchlight is available, but the person is either blind or has poor vision. The torchlight is useless. Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram tasya karoti kim. Remember that line. On the other hand, if a person's vision is good but there is no torchlight available, his eyes are useless. So, in that example verse, even if your eyes are good and there is no mirroring surface available, even then you wouldn't be able to see your own eyes reflected in the mirror. Both are required, they both complement each other. Therefore, both good vision and a torchlight are important to perceive an object in semi darkness. That's the message that is coming through the mirror example that Swamiji quoted. That is why Shankaracharya mentions both vicharena hitoktita, vicharena hitoktita, which will result in arthasya nischayah vyaktaha, or clear understanding. Both vichara and the assistance of a hitokti. Hitok, yeah, hitokti, a guru, a well-wisher, will result in arthasya nischayah vyaktah. The arise of clear understanding, the rise of clear understanding is possible only when we use the Shastras with the help of a guide, a well-wisher, an acharya, a guru. That's the thrust that Shankaracharya is giving in, in the shlokas 12 and 13 taken together, or even the earlier shlokas beginning from the 8th shloka. Not understanding this important aspect of Shastra Vichara, not understanding this important aspect of Shastra Vichara, a person does varieties of spiritual sadhana for self knowledge. He is only perpetuating his ignorance. Says, say all our acharyas, says Shankaracharya and all our acharyas. Not understanding this important aspect of Shastra Vichara, how important Shastra, Guru Shastra, Upadesha is, a person does varieties of spiritual sadhanas. For what? For self knowledge. Whereas Shankaracharya in an earlier verse had said, Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma. So any amount of karma, especially Nishkama karma, is only meant for Chitta Shuddhi. Nothing else. Once Chitta Shuddhi, an optimal amount of Chitta Shuddhi has been achieved, that's the end of the role of karma. Arurukshor Muner Yogam Karma Karanamuchyate Yogarudhasya Tasyaiva Shamah Karanamuchyate. Krishna says this very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. Karma is meant for preparation, period. Once the mind is optimally prepared, one needs to take the next step. Karma yoga has done its bit, Upasana yoga has done its bit. One has to necessarily move on to Jnana yoga. Karma and Upasana yogas are not the be all and end all. They are just the means to an end. This understanding our person lacks. So, not understanding this important aspect of Shastra Vichara, not understanding the limitations of Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, a person does varieties of spiritual sadhanas for self knowledge. For self knowledge. He is literally barking up the wrong tree. He is barking up the wrong tree. Period. Some great punya and Ishvara's blessings are required to turn this person's course. Make him see, first of all, the limitations of karma yoga and upasana yoga. It is great that he is committing himself to performing the Panchamaha Yajnas and Upasana, Vishwarupa Upasana, and everything. But the poor man doesn't know how limited they are in their scope. One has to either pray to Ishvara for uplifting such a person, or the person's own good prarabdha has to turn his course with Ishvara's blessings. By not committing himself to Shastra Vichara, it is akin to not using his eyes. Not only not using his eyes, but also not using the torchlight, the Shastras, to ascertain the reality of the rope snake. Going back to the rope snake, no Vedanta is complete without our rope snake. By not committing himself to Shastra study, Shastra Vichara, it is akin to not using his eyes and also the torchlight to ascertain the reality of our rope snake. Let us continue with our study in the upcoming capsules and take it forward from there. Until then, Hari Om. ॐ दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्धेभ्यः मुक्तश्चान्यान् विमोचयेत् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ